Magnetism is a property of matter. All magnetic substances have regions of polarity, a north-seeking pole and a south-seeking pole. Yes, it is appropriate to think of the north and south pole of the Earth when I say polarity, because there is a massive iron core in the Earth that acts as a gigantic magnet. But much smaller objects, including individual atoms, can be magnetic too. Okay, here we are looking at my driveway, and as you can see, the sand is primarily white. It's all sand, but since we're talking about magnetism, I have this magnet in my hand, and I'm going to drop it in the sand, just like a hematite magnet, and let's just see what happens. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, here we are. We're coming to check out our magnet. See what happens. Alright, so we put the magnet in the white sand. Now we're going to grab it up and see what we see. Oh, I hope you guys can see this. All attached to this hematite magnet, there are now black sand particles. What are those? These are iron sediments that traveled through the sand because they were magnetically attracted to the hematite. Iron is an element with magnetic properties. Iron and other metals are found in rocks. Through geologic time, erosion has occurred, causing these and other particles to travel the way of the rivers. I live in Sand Park, which is an ancient riverbed deposit of sand that runs 30 meters below the current surface of the land. This must have been a depositional zone in a huge river system that covered the whole valley. Sediment settled out of water when the velocity of the water decreased enough for gravity to win. Magnetic force relates to the distance between the two attracting but opposite magnetic objects. The greater the distance, the weaker the magnetic force. Okay, now let's think about the properties of magnets and the microscopic scale in which magnetism is similar to the force of gravity. So here are those same magnets we were looking at before. Just a hematite rock, which was in a game that we have. So the pull between the magnetism between the refrigerator and the magnet is very strong when there is nothing between the two objects. Watch, I can let go of it away from the refrigerator and it still lands on the refrigerator. Okay? So, one property of magnetism is that the particles have to be very close together. So here's one piece of newspaper. The magnet still works with one piece of newspaper between the particles. Let's see. Here's a little card that's folded in 4. So does the magnet work with 4 layers? It still works with 4 layers, okay? These are strong magnets. Now let's try the whole calendar, okay? Several pages. The magnet is still working actually, but not as well, of course, as before. Oh, that time it dropped down. We should look at one more thing while we're here at the refrigerator. This little toy that almost all children have is a magnetic writer, same thing as an Etch-a-Sketch. So when I run this piece of plastic down, it clears the board. And then we have this pen here. And you can see that it has a metal tip to it. And behind this board is the same thing that's attached to my magnet that I took out to my driveway. Okay? It's iron. The element iron has magnetic properties, as do other metals from the periodic table.